Nutrition to help support the thyroid. We have a whole lot of herbs for that. We have some thyroid formula. Dave's got thyroid formula back there. I stock up on it because the more radiation that happens, you're going to need some simple way to help the kids get the machine on you and the salt. There's a whole lot of herbs specifically. I like them in combination. Just get the, you have a thyroid formula back there, Dave? Yes. Type of food to give a thyroid boost would be some of the sea vegetables, like dulse. What am I missing? Kelp. I just about said kale because I got sitting up here. But that wasn't right. It's kelp. Yeah, it's seaweed in the ocean. I have a challenge with trusting that compared to the sea salt we're getting out of deep mine. All salt is sea salt. It was a seal one time. Okay? Usually what they call it sea salt doesn't mean it comes from an ocean. It means it from some ocean at some time. Just like we get bottled water, it says spring water. It might be through 5 toilets, but before those 5 toilets ago, it was somebody's spring water because it came from the spring originally. So they still call it spring water. Nobody's policing them on that. The kelp, the seaweed, how much is it going to be affected by this radiation itself? Now we go back to when Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan, the people that survived were the ate sea vegetables. So we know that even with the radiation count high, somehow it helped them combat it. We'll have to trust that it's not all polluted and perverted with radiation just because of Fukushima. Okay, this is one of my key questions. What do you tell people when they get cancer? What should they do? And what do you think causes it? Well, that's all rolled up in one. That's a good question. First off, I like to make sure they have cancer. When they get told they have cancer, usually it's by some hospital clinic. I'll give you an example of a guy from Minnesota who helped design and build the Mall of America. Can you imagine an engineer getting paid pretty good to do that? He had no money problems, all right? And he went in for a checkup over there in Rochester. And they said, you've got 6 weeks, 6 months if we treat you. He said, I've had a good life, I'm going on a party. He said he called up all the people that his family, they would let him pay for their trip on the cruise. He's going to die anyway, so let's go have a party. What's 6 months? Time for a party, right? You book a cruise. So I met him on that cruise, and his son was on the other side of me, and he said over here, I watched them, they had money, I didn't. So they're playing these slot machine things. They didn't bother to, they didn't even exercise their arm, they're pushing the button instead of using that weightlifting thing or the casino. Well, maybe you don't know. Anybody been to the casino? That would admit it. How much did you lose? So, anyway, so I said, he looked at my shirt and asked me about, what's that chocolate mean? It's a program how to get thin by eating chocolate. I said, what's this to help you? He said, I've been seeing these shirts all over the cruise ship. What are those shirts about? So I told him, so here's the help. I said, yeah. I said, well, this cruise is because of my dad's health. And he shared with me what had happened. His dad's got good insurance. And he went to the, we say, hold the mail. This is on tape, I gotta be careful. And they said, you've got this little short time to live, so he got all these nieces and nephews we never met. And I saw some of the party animals. They're having credit. There's no shortage of money, there's no shortage of food or nothing because these kids are not acting very normal. At least normal to me. And when he got to Florida to get on the cruise, Tim said, Dad, you're coming with me. And Tim took him to another clinic. The dad had not brought his records. So that don't need them. Now think about that. That's called a second opinion. They could find no cancer. I think he got in a car accident 6 years later or whatever, but he never got to suffer chemo. He missed out using his good insurance. He was a fun guy. So when you ask me, when people tell you they get cancer, make sure they got cancer. We've had quite a few of them that show up. It's like, what cancer? Well, you got symptoms. Well, symptoms are what? They're messengers. Why would you kill the messenger? God's saying, there's stages of cancer. We find cancer when it's stage 1, 2, 3, 4. When it's 4, Western medicine finds it. When it's 4, and we use some of our nutrition, it drops to stage 3 in a week to 2 weeks. Now they go back and get a second opinion anywhere, they're not going to find it. When Jimmy Keller would get a phone call that somebody's coming down to his clinic where he's reversing 95% reversal of sick cases sent home to die. Not remission, that's a word that somebody else used. Reversal is when it's behind you, it's done, it's over. Remission is if you manage to hang on with your hair falling out, you're vomiting, and you're nausea, and hard to get out of life, and you live for 5 days and you die 1 day after the 5th anniversary of the treatment, you were cured. That's not a cure. That means you suffered for 5 years and you died within their time frame. They pat themselves on the back. They cured you as you're dead in the coffin. No, remission. Go have a good life. When they come down to see Jimmy Keller, and you tell them they have such and such cancer, here's what he would tell them. Cancer? Is that all? I thought he had something serious. Well, if it's just a 95% reversal, what's serious about cancer? You've been taught 30,000 commercials a year that there's no cure. Go for the walkathon, this marathon. Donate to this cause. Little Johnny's got leukemia. Put money in here. Come to the spaghetti feed. We got all these things to help funnel and feed the fraud that doesn't cure any cancer. When they get cancer, what should they do? Alkalize. Microhydrin, ASEA. We got products now. We don't even have to go. We don't even have to go intravenous. I've had this clean up kidney dialysis and cancer. I've had this just in how many days before we saw a total change turnaround on that stage 4 cancer? It was a week, wasn't it?
Which one of the many?
Yeah, I know. The one that lived with us for 4 months. Which one of those?
With the CI, it was 2 days where the pain was gone.
Pain was gone 2 days, about 6 days.
6 days from stage 3 to stage 4 and stage 3.
Stage 4, stage 3. And we have a whole lot more besides. It's like, which part of the smorgasbord of healing for cancer do you want to partake in? We don't heal your cancer. You do by taking the products, by doing lifestyle changes. There's some things we change before you even get to your first bottle of solution to get well. You get the heck off of animal protein. You do not eat meat till you're well. You cannot afford to break down hard-hitting proteins in the body and try to save your life from cancer. So you cut out the heavy meats, including fish. Now we find that fertile chicken eggs work just fine. That protein breaks down very easy, especially if it's soft cooked or raw. But that's where you start. And if they won't cut out the meat, you're going to waste a lot of nutrition on them just holding stick, just not to even get ahead, but just to stay even. Okay? There's a whole lot of things you avoid. We have a course where we teach people how to get past any dis-ease, and we teach you how to do it to yourself. So we don't cure anything. Nobody cures anything. Do you realize that? Only the human body cures itself with the right pieces. No doctors can use the word cure in the same sense as I cured anything, because they don't cure. It's God's DNA program inside of you that cures you, that heals you, and puts you back to where you belong. It is not man. All we can do is either teach you how to take out the interference and how to put in the nutrition. What do you think causes cancer? Cells dying faster than they can be replenished. And every time something dies, did you know that fungus or mold shows up? If it did, this earth wouldn't work. So now they find, oh, we found candida. Mold. Cancer. The doctor got me over cancer in 1990. He said he's never seen a case of cancer that didn't have candida, but he's seen some people with candida that did not have cancer. I totally agree with him. But when you have cancer, you're going to have all kinds of fungus besides candida. Fungus is not the cause of the cancer. I'm sorry to tell you. Fungus has nothing to work on unless the cell dies, unless there's some kind of debris for it to munch on, to eat up. So, it's the chicken and the egg thing. Did the cancer get there because of mold? No. But what causes the mold? Did the mold cause the cancer? You can argue that forever, but I can tell you in God's program, when something dies, mold takes over. That's how it turns back to dust of the earth. So if you got too much mold in you, they can find cancer. We can find cancer long before you get that moldy. It's a lot easier to deal with when, like I told some people yesterday, it's a lot smarter to check the oil on the engine before the rod goes out the side. Get a blood test, get checked. Now I'm not talking about a Western medicine blood test. They can't do a real blood test. What I mean by real, are you a live human? If we're going to study cadavers, I can see studying dead blood. But you're a live human. We do the blood while it's still alive. We do it within minutes from the time that it's just taken from you. And then it doesn't get mixed up in the laboratory like some cases. I had a new lady in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I used to take my film to that store, get it developed, long before camera, what we got today. Hard to buy film anymore. I went back about 2 years later to see if she's still at the same store. And they looked at it, you ask her her name, and they look at you like, you don't know. Here's what had happened. She's a single mom, 6-year-old boy, got a blood test. The blood test came back, said she was HIV positive. She did not want to pass it on to her son, afraid she would if she stayed around him. She committed suicide. The funeral was in the middle of the week. And just before the funeral, they got in touch with the family and said, the laboratory mixed up, that was not her blood that had HIV. Somebody made a mistake in the lab. We look at your blood before it dies. They kill it and send it off to somebody that's on a hangover on a Monday morning, doesn't really care. It just wants a number, it just wants a slide, it's a job, paying for whatever. And it's your life back here. And you're trusting them. I helped a guy get himself past cancer in Minnesota. And when he went back after 7 days and they couldn't find cancer anymore, the doctor that was doing a lymph node, he'd already cut off lymph nodes. They were going to do chemo, and then we intervened, the nutrition did. And the doctor, when the lab come back with no cancer in the report, he got so angry at his own laboratory, he said, you're going to have to go to the Mayo. He said, no, doc, I'm going natural. The sad story in that story was, oh, he's doing fine today, and his family's doing fine. But it's so split the family because he's got 2 sisters that are registered nurses that are so mad that he didn't go to the Mayo. So he finally did go back to the doctor to satisfy the nurses, because they're starting to think his doctor's incompetent also. But they sure didn't trust the quack that I was. But Logan, will you hand out the quack paper? What says quack on it? They didn't trust the quack. So he goes back. And you know what the same doctor told him when he was come back with a clean report? Well, you never had cancer in the first place. And So his question to the doctor is, why were you cutting off my lymph nodes then? You might find some humor in this. Okay, this question I can't answer completely. With water's memories, boy, there's a good portion of the question right there. If you have a high iron water and it's softened, does it pull the iron out for when you drink it? Okay. First off, all water holds memory. That's why if you're drinking some tap water, it's been through two lagoons and 5 toilets, or one toilet, it's been used, and the memory is stuck in there from birth control pills and from HRT and all these medications we're taking, and that memory is stuck in that water. When you're drinking somebody's processed city water, you do not know. There's a serious thing about memory and water. Water's memory. The less we monkey with water out of the ground, the healthier it's going to be. There's going to be very few exceptions unless it's been pesticide, herbicide runoff. Here's a question. With water memory, if you have high iron water and it's softened, does it pull the iron out for when you drink it? Okay. We did not have heart disease in this country until somebody came up with water softeners. In fact, high iron is just healthy as can be. It just makes things red. Hair red, clothes red. So for the inconvenience, we compromise. We go off and we buy a water softener so it doesn't wreck our clothes, now it wrecks our body. The more you change the original angle of the water, that might be over your hairspray, they call it hydrogen bond angle. The more you change water coming from the earth, the less healthy it is. The more you touch food that's to be eaten, the less healthy it is. In fact, it goes to a point where it's toxic. We get so fancy buying into all these, your water's bad. What do you mean bad? Well, it's got iron in it. Well, big deal. Why don't you want iron? In fact, if you supplement with iron from a pill form, you're going to get sick. You get it from the water source and it watch the body heal. I would be feeding it all. Well, we have iron. We have water with iron in it. We have all kinds of minerals. I moved there to get iron. I didn't move there so I could use a water softener. You cannot get water. The more you squeeze and torment water, the further from the original state that you're in. So the question is trying to go back to its original state or other nutrients. That's the problem with squeezing it through reverse osmosis. It's dead. You run it through a distiller, it's worse than dead. You know how you get worse water than dead water? Hungry water. Water that's so void of what goes with water that it steals the nutrition from your food, just trying to heal the water that you drink. You don't just drink distilled water ever. Reverse osmosis, then you want to add in salt, good minerals. In fact, if you're using that salt, I think you're going to heal a whole lot of ills. I would just stick with the well water coming out. I would probably make sure there's not too much pesticides or herbicides. For that, I would probably try to neutralize part of it with oxygen. So we would pour food grade peroxide down your well, maybe a cup every so many days, depending on the volume that you're using. And it cleans up nitrates and changes the structure of pesticides and herbicides. Really goes after the nitrates. Chlorine to the water would be, if specialists said, well, all we need to do is add some chlorine to the water to have the iron to be negative. There might be something to that, but again, we're adding potential confusion to the water. You know, we've all been jumping on this bandwagon, chlorine will help it, chlorine, but then we end up with all kinds of other diseases. So, Whoever had this, I want to talk to at lunch. Okay? Because I'm gonna trust that there's more information out there I need to know.
Take a bathroom break.
What's that?
Take a bathroom break.
Yeah, I was thinking take a lunch break. Is it too early?
Come talk to me.
I'm talking. She says take a bathroom break, whatever that is. That's when you're dehydrated and you touch the water, right? Okay, we'll just do one more deal before lunch. When you come back. And you're gonna enjoy it. Some you've never seen. Okay, the next thing on the list, perfect timing. I've never done an online before. I'm actually trying to do this again sometimes. It keeps me on track a little bit. Okay, the next thing is called seeing is believing. 25 all 30 options over here. Dave, you good guy to pick his brain. He'll still have some left when I get done. Right, Dave? Yeah, you're good. Thank you. You don't want to miss this part because you're wearing glasses. I was taught years ago how to get rid of glasses without getting contacts. This part's fun. Oh, I need a book. Logan? Where's Logan?
Oh, he's in the back. I sent him on a job.
Where's my, did I bring my little book? Like a primer, like a big C-spot run, C-spot run. Second thing we've got, well, we can do that. You got a book too, got a little book, I saw it here, I can borrow you with. This is a bit visual, right beside you there, Tristan. Yes, that'll work. Oh,
There's toys on it for you.
I think I like this book already. Did you find this at our place?
Garage sale.
Man, I would buy something like this at a garage sale.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, I know, those garage sales. I sometimes get late for a thing, and somebody, I'm on my way to a wedding, and somebody sticks a garage sale right in the way. I was taught this by a gentleman named Brian Severson. And for what information he gave, he got a 66-year prison term. So you want to listen to him. He's been there 20-some years for teaching people how to get rid of eyeglasses. And if you ever have some extra prayer bone time, just put Brian Severson in there because they torture him pretty regular in prison. Deer Lodge, Montana, where he's incarcerated. But before he went to prison, he taught me quite a bit. And one was how to get rid of your eyeglasses. So I'm going to show you how I got in trouble. Your eyes are a muscle. Is that news to anybody? And what happens to your muscles when you don't use them? There's a fancy word for it when they fall apart. If you get weak, it's called atrophy. And so when your eyes no longer have to work, they're atrophied. In other words, when you put a pair of glasses in front of them, they're atrophied. They're like couch potatoes. Did you know your eyes can heal themselves? Okay. Here's where we got in trouble. It happened in kindergarten or sooner. We were told as parents, when we were kids, never have the book more than 18 inches from your eyes. So here's kindergarten. And then we get into first grade. By then we've got pretty well figured out we like books. So here's Johnny, first grade. See, spot, run. See, Jane, run. See, puff, run. Johnny, teacher says, would you read what I wrote on the blackboard? I can't read it. Note goes home with Johnny to parents. must see an optometrist. Johnny's having problems reading. Optometrist, sure enough, needs to make money, doesn't he? If he told Johnny to exercise his eyes, he wouldn't be in business now, would he? And first off, he went to school to be an optometrist. He was never taught this, because it would wreck the industry, to the point where this gentleman, Brian Severson, helped over 100,000 people get rid of their eyeglasses. A lot of them were airline pilots, commercial airline pilots, keeping their jobs. He hurt the industry so much, he got 66 years for it, and his trial was a fake trial. That was in America, by the way. That was not in some foreign country. So, Johnny gets glasses. Now he can't read anything without his glasses because his eyes have come used to only one setting. Do you realize you have only one setting? So how would you beat that? How would you beat that one setting to get your eyesight back? I'm going to show you. And people think I'm nuts. I'm going to prove it to you without a doubt that I am nuts. Here's an actual, the last set that I have that I ever bought from Brian Severson. If you're going to lift weights, how would your eyeballs lift weights? Well, you put on a pair of glasses that don't match. Make any sense? Maybe not yet. That's not strong enough. I can still read it. And I'm not kidding. His instruction manual told you to talk, there's a picture of how to stack the glasses. Boy, now you guys are fuzzy. Now I force myself to read through these fuzzy glasses. Guess what happens? I just exercise my eyeballs. Now I'm not fit for public looking like this, am I? But this works. In fact, the worse your eyesight is, the thicker your glasses, the quicker you see results, because your eyes have not been massaged and they've not been doing exercises, all right? Now I'm going to show you some more things. You go to countries where they don't make a huge living off of selling glasses, like China. Let me show you how they read in China. First off, the dump truck has to go upside down and backwards. And then we start at the back of the book. And here's how they're taught differently than we are. Here comes John. You're going to take it to me. See spot on. They're taught to change the focal distance of their book while they read it. How tough is that? How simple is that? How third grade simple? If you don't exercise your eyes, why would they be muscles? Why would they be strong? So here's where we get in trouble before kindergarten. Baby in crib wakes up, and you see him doing this thing, and you pull their hand away from him. You might hurt your eyes. What are they doing when they massage the eyeball? They're keeping the eyeball around. Ever hear of stigmatism? Oh, I guess not. Well, I had stigmatism. My eyeballs are not round. They're pointed. So when I weld something, I swear it's 90 degrees. I look back at it, it's Leaning Tower of Pisa. Does anybody else know what stigmatism means? Or are you just bashful? Stigmatism when they give you glasses for it, right? That's how you fix it. No, the baby in the crib, before they get educated beyond their intelligence like us, massage the bejeebers out of their eyeballs. You see them doing it even at an early age with their palms of their hands. So when I get up, I don't like stigmatism, especially if I'm going well. So I work the eyeball. It goes back to where it belongs all along. Now, another thing that we do in our house that you were told to never do. You come in, you see a kid reading, you flick on the light. Don't read in the dark, you'll hurt your eyes. Pure D wrong. read in the dark, and you'll have eyes that last you a lifetime. Logan doesn't. We can tell on him. He's hiding back there somewhere. Sometimes we come, oh, there you are. Don't you, Logan? We'll come in and we look for Logan. He's in the living room. It's so dark we can't see him. He's still reading. He won't have to have glasses if he keeps that up. But then, what's that mean? We're hurting the optometry world so that they can't sell us LASIKs and contacts and eyeglasses. So let me show you what I put this family through, and I have tortured them. I am not kidding you. We travel. The second hardest thing is to keep the car from turning is a thrift store, right? So let me show you my thrift store. You can buy a pair of sunglasses for $3.98, but the same kind of material and the same type of design in the prescription glasses is $100 to $200. I've always wondered about that. The guy said, "There's an optometrist going out of business. Do you want his frames?" I said, "Well, how much are they?" I'm thinking $200-300 a pair, or $50 a pair in bargain. Well, you can have this box for about $150 or for $50. That was a good price. I bought them. I had people from all over. When they break their frames, we find something to match and put them together. And I found out that most of these frames that were given to me were given to the optometrist by a glasses rep. They've got almost nothing in those frames. They charge you up to kazoo. So I found out that I can get them pretty cheap if I shop right. Usually $1 a pair at the thrift store. And my driver's license now says I have to have lenses in front of me. So I buy lenses, don't I? Now these actually have bifocals. I'm not bipolar, but I got bifocal. And tripolar, trifocals.
Those aren't the ugly ones.
No, I left the ugly ones at home. Now, this, I got more grief from this pair. This pair came from Florida. They call me grandma when I wear these. But I purposely try to wear different glasses so I don't have to have glasses to get by. I'm stretching my eyeballs. But bifocals are kind of fun. You don't have to go to a second pair when you're going to go read. I haven't figured out how to get that perfect yet either. Although I just read the one pair I just tried on, it's probably better than anything I've got so far. I hate to mix up the set. You used to be able to buy 3 sets of lenses and this instruction manual from Brian Severson. I sold quite a few of them, but all of a sudden couldn't get them anymore. So I'm hanging on. You can look at this, but please don't run off with this. Is my last. They're making a museum about us quacks. I guess it was one up in Minneapolis. Now I'm going to tell you another thing if you want to wreck your eyeballs. You want to wreck your eyes? Start wearing sunglasses. Your eyes need the sun just like every other organ of the body needs the sun's energy. Don't wear sunglasses very often. Sometimes I compromise, but I pay attention not to do it more than just for a few hours. These had bifocals too. These are prescription bifocals and sunglasses. Here. This way look good. People pick on me when I put on these antique glasses. I don't care. You reach a certain point, it's not about impressing everybody. So massage the eyeballs, and then if you get bored in church, this is the best place to do this probably. Or in the seminar if you get bored, you can just signal me because I've taught you this. Do crazy H with your eyeballs. And one more thing that just runs through my brain while I'm thinking this. We've had people with lazy eyes. And sometimes one night putting a magnet off the refrigerator beside tape it on the temple, we've had their lazy eye straightened out. Just needs a little help while you're sleeping. Sometimes I've had to do it for a few days in a row. When I favorite ones are business card magnets. Used to do with weekend magnets, but a business card magnet is bipolar. That's probably one of your heard, right? Yeah, both north and south on the same side. And when you hold up to a test paper, there'll be straight lines. Somebody gives you a business card, it doesn't matter what it says on it. Don't throw them away. Put them in your fridge for injuries, bruises, mosquito bites, bee stings, brown recluse spider bites, and lazy eyes. How much does that cost you? Probably nothing unless you call that business card and use their service. No, I love teaching stuff that's for free, and I get this complaint once in a while from people say, I can't afford to be natural. It's like, get a business card for free, start there. Okay.
Eating an organic carrot every day and kiwis too. My eyes have gotten 3 better in 2 years, according to the flight physical, by doing that. And I don't wear my glasses unless I'm flying or driving at night.
Yeah.
And the vitamin A in an organic carrot and a kiwi is very good for the eyes.
A kiwi.
Yeah, kiwi.
Kiwi's high in potassium, better than a bunch of bananas. Thanks, Robin. You reminded me of something else I just about forgot to tell. See, nutritional is probably the reason we get in trouble in the first place. So we go back, it's not just a crutch. But the biggest, you brought up again, the biggest mistake we make is we start wearing glasses permanently. Now, let me tell you how this is. If you think I'm nuts, Herman helped me with this. Then we're both nuts or they're nuts. You want to clean up your eyesight in a hurry? Put cayenne pepper in it. But if you're chicken like me, I've got the bottle waiting. Dr. Schultz's eye formula made out of cayenne pepper. I can find cayenne pepper without Dr. Schultz's help, but I just want to see how much you watered it down. See how much if I couldn't just throw pepper in the eyes, it would have been better. So I did a test a number of times and it proved out every time. Get some onions. Figure out where you're going to cut them. Look out the window. Study something that you can mark that's fuzzy. Do your onions. Cry a little bit. Don't take long at all. Get that onion gas in your eyeballs to where you're tearing up. And then look. And you'll see you became crisp just in seconds of some eyeball gas or some onion gas in your eyeball. You don't have to do the cayenne pepper just yet unless you really want to clean house. And I brought it home to do it the other day because I forgot it at the clinic, and I wanted to open up this bottle of Schultz's before, and I chickened out. I misplaced the bottle, maybe on purpose.
I know right where it is.
I might ask you for it. Isn't that spread? See how simple it is? Your eyeball is a muscle. You turn it into a couch potato, you have to wear glasses. So it's just experiment wherever you can, just around home, and see if you can go back to a weaker pair that you used to own. Oh, okay, while I'm on the eyeball thing, I gotta tell you what happened. Because I don't like them, I put them down and I forget where I put them. Which that kind of forces me to practice what I preach, so out my eyeglasses. The last one I had sitting on a very $20 tire. And when I moved the tractor, when I moved the tractor, the frame got sort of rearranged and the glass got scratched pretty bad and it didn't look good on my face anymore. So I go back to where I got them from. And they said, oh, Mr. Klebs, I have the prescription, you know, the little piece of paper with numbers on it. He's out of business.
Well, there might be still weds.
Okay. Anyway,
Actually tell them when it's played.
I go back to get the prescription filled. He said, oh, Mr. Klebs, your prescription has expired. And I took out those crushed glasses and I said, they look better, but they don't smell expired. Oh, no. Every year you have to get new. By law, your prescription is only good for 1 year. And I thought, yeah, isn't that cozy? How can we get people together to make it a law that you can only see a naturopathic doctor and no medical doctor, you know? Self-serving type thing, you know? It made me so mad, I went almost 3 more years before I finally went back and caved in and got another cheap prescription just to qualify at night driving or whatever. So I see the Bambi before they hit the car. I live in South Deer, Iona. Did I forget anything on the eyes? There's a see clearly method, I bought it. A lot of different exercises you can do. The main thing is exercise the eyeballs. And try to read the dark. Okay? I think that's why God made thrift stores, just so we can get glasses. I pretty much covered chapter 7. Which doctor is which doctor? When I told you that the word pharmaceutical comes from the word, it means to practice witchcraft. I was doing a seminar in Indiana one time, and they tried to accuse me of being of the devil because I was using herbs. And for some reason I was prepared that time, and I had a Webster's dictionary when I looked that up for him. I went to the board and I did a classified section of the newspaper, help wanted. Must be able to steal, kill, and destroy. Oh, another job opening. Life more abundant. Cause life more abundant. So I said, let's look at it. The witch doctor does what? Well, he cuts you, he burns you, he gives you poison, he dances a circle around your bed. If you die, you're guilty or something. If he lives, he wants first fruits in your garden, right? What does the witch doctor today do? Cuts you, burns you, gives you poison, doesn't dance around your bed, but he stands beside you, and whether you live, die, or otherwise, he gets all fruits of your garden. Now, the witch doctor is which side here? Life more abundant or steal, kill, and destroy? When I use herbs, I cause no harmful side effects. We only cause life more abundant. So why would an herbalist be considered the witch doctor? Because he can't eat full cow. The guy never asked another question the whole seminar. Common sense versus education. I'll have an interesting chapter on that because I've given some actual examples of common sense. For instance, Tylenol. Is it a drug deficiency? Is a headache a drug deficiency? Just trying to listen for I need to add any more to education. Yeah, our society has a bend towards thinking that degrees mean a lot. I say if degrees meant a lot, how come a whole waffle doesn't get you well? I told you about GMO, God move out, move over. Then I'm bored here. Notice how I spell medicine. Talking about those 30,000 commercials fits here. The lie climbs a tree and screams for attention. The truth quietly waits its turn. The lie then competes with itself, making much fuss, hoping to drown out the gentle truth. When it comes to the truth, sometimes you have to wait for it. Sometimes, for instance, like this room. If this information was really important, it'd be pumped for it. Yeah, how can I say that? If it's not on 2020, 60 Minutes, I don't know if those are still on TV, I haven't had TV for years. But if, a lot of people say if it doesn't come across the monitor, think on TV or internet, why would they trust it? Yet, the gentle truth waits its turn. We waited till today, we took our time today. This is a gentle way of getting the body to healing. Changing from ignorance to common sense. We're trying to get this where the body just fits. Feels it, it fits. What is the chapter we call Feel the Heal? It'll be about, listen to that quiet voice in you. There's certain times when you go and you eat something and say, boy, that really fit. And there's also times when something try to tell you you have acid indigestion, or you already know that the convenience store is junk food. So what are you gonna pray over your junk food to make it heal you? Maybe that's possible. Most people at the convenience store don't stop before they eat their candy bar or the junk food and pray over it. And you say it's junk food and it's snicker. You laugh at it. It's like it's funny. Junk food is not funny. I used to stop at convenience stores, and this is fun. I recommend you do it too. Maybe we can make a difference. Because we're already making a difference with our message. You can now get gluten-free bread, gluten-free in most grocery stores. Some health food stores, I forgot to bring that. Sonia stopped at the convenience store, I got something absolutely healthy. So for years I've been coming in, I'll walk in, and I'll go up and down the aisles, if I have enough time, hoping somebody notices that I'm lost inside a convenience store, can't seem to find my way out. And occasionally, if they're an older person working at the checkout, they might say, hey, can I help you? Some of the younger teenagers, I think, could be there the whole night, and they could go off shift and switch shift. And they wouldn't even know what to say that. So I was in Oaks, North Dakota one night, and a fun thing happened. I'm walking back and forth, I cruise aisles pretty fast, because I didn't have much time to waste. And the young girl, she says, can I help you? I said, I'm looking for your health food section. She laughed like normal. They laugh at you. But if you'll all do this, pretty soon they'll get the message, right? And she said, then they'll point to the granola bars. I said, no, something that's not gonna hurt me. I have to drive through the night. I need something to stay awake that isn't gonna hurt me. She said, who are you? I said, I teach on natural health. I said, this is despicable. You don't have anything worth buying here. If it weren't for gas and the toilet, I wouldn't even be here with what you have here. She said, my mom did. She said, do you help with cancer? I said, especially cancer. She said, my mom had cancer. Could you help me? I said, here's the number. I planted my seed, but here's what I was up to. Here's all this time, all these years been doing this, you know what I'm up to? I'm gonna give it away to anybody that wants to have a business that's got some, if this turns you on and you're 60-something, well, you're not there yet. You're 40-something, and you wanna start a business that's just gonna boom like that and you sell, and you wanna turn it into a franchise, and wanna put the lights to that, here it is. All you need is a freestanding spinner of some healthy food to start out with. And take the little pagoda tree and have it so it just sticks up a few inches so nobody's offended by your pagoda tree interrupting everybody else's product, and call it the life tree or something. So that when I step into their door, I look for that little pagoda tree and I go right there and I don't waste my time. Now here's what will happen. Whoever does this. Today it's a pagoda tree, next year it'll be a whole aisle. And that person will be a section of the store. That's what's happening everywhere with, I remember with bottled water, who would believe we'd ever pay money for bottled water? And you used to be able to get one kind. Now they got a whole section of the cooler and they have it sitting on the floor. That's what will happen to anybody who comes up with a identifiable health, and I mean identifiable as health as well as the golden tree. That's why for years I've been doing this. I have this vision that one day I want to step in there, it'll be something I can identify, and I won't hurt myself if I buy the product. Any youngsters want to take that on, go right ahead. I don't want any royalties, I just want to be able to stop and see that pagoda tree, or whatever tree you choose. Maybe dandelions, put the dandelion. Medicine versus herbs. Is it one second? I gotta say something, because I've really looked, we're halfway through. Good place to come back. We have potluck. I always like that. I'm not sure about the word. If what you eat puts you on the pot, or you're lucky to get anything. I don't know why they say potluck, but it's pretty fun, isn't it? And we'll join back here in about an hour. Anything you need to share?
Those who brought something, if you just take a few minutes to get that ready, the rest of us wait until we get the go ahead to go to the kitchen.
Did you all hear what she said?
No.
I didn't think so. Bring your pretty self up here. So people can feel sorry for me one more time.
Whatever.
I love this woman. You can tell. That's how you should listen.
I can take it off though. Those who brought something, if you just take a few minutes to get it ready in the kitchen. Those who didn't, or husbands who didn't bring anything but their wives. Just give us a few minutes to get it ready and then come in the kitchen when you get the go-ahead.
I'll tell you a fun joke I just heard. Veterans Day just last month, or whatever it was. This guy goes to see a doctor for a checkup. And the doctor says, boy, you're in really good health for 80-something. How old was your dad when he died? Who says he's dead? Well, your dad's still living. Yeah, he's 101. Well, how old was his dad when he died? Who says he's dead? You mean your grandpa? Your grandpa's still alive? Yes, he's 118. He's getting married. And how's it go? The doctor says, why would he be getting married? Who says he wants to? More boring than test. Even more difficult to leave alone than a thrift store than an auction sale. Okay. Any questions burning that we have written down, or?
I have Logan hand out paper again for
Okay.
questions.
We're gonna skip to 11. Well, we didn't do all of 10. We'll be back at that in a little bit. Chapter 11, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Well, we had a good example of what I'm going to speak on just at lunch. I'm going to use your analogy yesterday. Which would you rather have? If somebody tells you to go get a canary, which would you rather have? A porcelain canary, a mountain canary, or a live canary? Well, if it's about health, which would you rather have? The picture of something that looks like something else? In other words, synthetic. We'd have GMO, which is like dead food. Toxic dead food, which would be like a mountain canary, or which is like a organic, real canary. That would be organic food. So what I'm going to share with you, in the very last chapter number 16 is built with bricks. I'm going to come back to that a little bit, and I'll touch on it now because I want to share basic instructions before leaving Earth. The Bible talks about if it doesn't reproduce, you get rid of it. So what are we doing eating seedless oranges, seedless grapes, seedless watermelon, chicken eggs that won't hatch a baby? That'd be like your mountain canary. If you like, you're gonna hurt you, let alone not feed you. So there's a way to test it with a Brix meter. And so I tested the watermelon we had today. Because it's got some sugar in it. You can taste a little sugar, but the Brix is not very well. Organic, properly raised, homegrown watermelon with seeds in it could run as high as 14 on the Brix scale. That's enough sugar that if you eat that kind of watermelon, it'll bring your blood sugar in closer to balance if you're diabetic. Okay, so when you go to the store today, almost all of the watermelon is seedless. If you're lucky enough to find it, we did last week, we found some watermelon that was seeded, way more expensive than the seedless. The bricks was 8.4. The seedless watermelon we had today was 6.2. So on the scale of sugar and natural balance, your organic homegrown would be about twice as sweet and would be balancing with the body as what we had today. It's just getting harder and harder to find anything that's real. We put the juice of the plant on here, put the little prism down, look up at the light, and it'll read to you how much sugar there is. Blood sugar balances in the human body when it gets natural sugar. People say there's no difference between organic and store-bought. Well, they're about as ignorant as can be, because we can, not only do we prove with bricks meter, we were just talking to a gentleman at lunch. He bought one of the first watermelons this year, and it had a lot of flavor to it. The next one, a few weeks later, had no flavor at all. You could hardly stand to eat it. And he talked about one he got from the Hotter Ice that was the best watermelon he's ever had. He doesn't have to know that there is a bricks meter. His tongue tells him when it tastes good. So, one of the old remedies for helping with blood sugar was when you grow your own watermelon, eat lots of it, and it would help heal, because that fits in the human body. Like when you're juicing, the more you get towards organic, the higher the bricks, the more of an effect you're gonna have. I use juicing in the clinic only once in a while. I'm probably gonna listen to you a little more, and on some of these cases, come back to it. I got 3 champion juicers. That's how much I like juicing, but it's the winter time we get lazy. Where do we forget to get the organic? So we compromise, and that's probably, there again, the compromise between store-bought, fresh veggies, so-called fresh, and cooked, hands-on. The more a man touches it, the more perverted it gets. So, anyway, when it comes to the GMO today, which is such an abomination to what the Bible is talking about, God move over is what I sometimes refer to as. The GMO is actually got a curse with it. We have huge pile of corn in the wintertime stored for ethanol now, because everybody's jumping on the corn bandwagon. And 2 years ago, the last two, not this winter, but the 2 winters in front of it, we had lots of snow over there. And the deer and the pheasants started off high population missing. It used to be there. So when they're starving, people would watch these deer and these pheasants come up to these corn piles, they're coming for a smorgasbord. They sniff it, go off and die of starvation. They won't even touch GMO. But here's the sad thing, is that GMO corn is getting laced into some of our food products, and people that are eating it are ending up becoming sterile. We're sustainable agriculture made in Aberdeen, and Jerry was there, Jerry Shepley. Anyway, one of the guys got a booth there, we were talking about GMO versus organic, and he was an organic grower. He said his neighbor could lose his business because he raises breeding bulls. They've been feeding GMO corn, and he had just shipped 40% of his breeding stock are totally sterile. You spend all these generations building up breeding stock, and then you feed them this cheap garbage. Worse yet, we were in southern Iowa at a farm that grows turkeys for Subway, and the lady that, the lady of the house, her special job was to care for the infirmed turkeys. They're about the size of chicken. They're dwarfed by the GMO corn that they're feeding them. And she carries a little ball bat with them just to protect herself, because they come flying at her, trying to peck her, and then she beats them down to control a few survivors. Those are pulled out of with the big ones, and they get picked on. The big ones, they come in with a big cart and pick up the dead turkeys every so many hours. And when they do an autopsy, the turkeys won't eat the GMO corn. They'll eat the shavings off the floor and their gullet is full of, the gizzard's full of shavings, and they die of starvation. What's ironic is people grow organic corn, but they're not allowed to get any of it to the Subway chickens. And I wanted to tell them, you're gonna wreck your farm compromising with these turkeys, because if you put any of that turkey manure on your farm, now you're gonna poison your own soil. The reason we found that farm is because we had a guy that had gone to Subway turkey, had a Subway turkey sandwich, and he got so poisoned from whatever they're feeding those turkeys that it took us 4 months to get him past from serious stage 4 cancer back to helping people. So the GMO is very, very perverted. So if you look at the Bible, it warns you not to mess with anything that won't reproduce its own kind. Your GMO or Terminator seeds do not reproduce. No. I just got this 2 days ago in the mail. This is from it used to be called Spotlight, now it's called American Free Press. And I hate to do that. I wasn't going to do this right after lunch. I thought, man, I'm going to go ahead and get a piece here. Here's the title: Soft drink manufacturer using tissue from aborted fetuses. Aborted material, baby material, is very valuable. They're using it for all kinds of skin creams and collagen for, eyeliners and different things. But this takes the cake. Can you imagine you become a cannibal just because you're hooked on soda pop? They buy the flavorings from a company that uses aborted human fetus tissue. Another reason to give up soda pop, huh? Here's a little thing I found to clean this up and use it. Sometimes I get the feeling aspirin companies are sponsoring my headaches. Half the modern drugs could well be thrown out the window, except the birds may eat them. The patient should be made to understand that he or she must take charge of his own life. Don't take your body to the doctor as if you were in a repair shop. I find all kinds of fun stuff to go about. When people come to us just to learn or to get over dis-ease, I've switched the word, in our case, from a die-et to a live-it. We put them on a live-it program, and we teach them for a solid week on diet and lifestyle. In other words, organics, you start with what to take out and then what to put back in. Teach them about organics, how to find it, where to find it. One of the things that is a real problem in America is some so-called allergies. Like they say, if you do a skin test, everybody's allergic to eggs. Well, of course they're allergic to eggs, because nobody can handle the eggs that are bought in the store or the restaurant. We were raised on a chicken farm. We had 2,000 free-range chickens. My dad gave them fish oil and all kinds of stuff long before it was popular. I remember him being bothered many times by salesmen coming to visit with him, and they spend hours in the car, and they're trying to talk my dad into mortgaging the family farm to put up cage layers. He said, why would I do that? Well, you get more eggs. How do you get more eggs? How do you get more eggs out of chickens? Does anybody know? They're designed to produce so many eggs per day. Well, the same people that run GMO, anything, already had this figured out back in the 60s and 70s. He told them, well, you put an additive in the feed, and the chickens burn on the inside, so they have to cover up the burn with extra water. The extra water is because the chicken has no urinary tract. To get rid of that extra water, they have to produce more eggs. Have you ever wondered why when you crack an egg from the store, it splashes with water, lays flat, yellow, not orange, not humped yolk? It's because they feed these chickens calcium chloride. Well, my dad liked his chickens too much to torture them. Of course, you get one leg seasons of 1.5 or 2 seasons out of the chicken. So he refused it, and what those people are allergic to when they do a skin prick on the allergy test is actually it's a sick, perverted calcium chloride, same stuff they put in the tractor tires to make them heavy. It's a sick egg. So it comes with basic instructions for they were if you leave chicken eggs alone. Now I'm going to touch on something else. Dairy. Most Americans are so-called allergic to dairy. No, they're allergic to fake dairy. You call that white stuff in a plastic leaching estrogen bottle. In fact, it leaches so much estrogen, it extends the shelf life of that stuff they call milk. And if you told a mama cow that you were going to give her that 4-letter word called milk out of a plastic container at the store, here's what the mama cow would probably say to you. It'd kill a calf. You're giving back something that can't be broke down by less than 4 stomachs, and you're killing it when you homogenize, nucleize, killerize, pasteurize, pervert, stick it in an acid leaching container, and then you give that to a human? Now humans are designed for something, they have 1 stomach, cows have 4 stomachs. But if you leave the cow's milk intact with the enzymes, and it's full life, the human body can handle it and it doesn't cause an allergic reaction. But the people, when they get a test for are you allergic to dairy, they're testing the sick stuff that's been perverted by man. The natural stuff, and we look back, almost everybody was raised on milk the cow, cool it. In some cases you just squirted it, you used to squirt it, my brothers. I'd make them drink warm milk. It's a side story. A lot of those from the days of milking cows. But it's no wonder we are allergic to so-called dairy. Now Logan, you see him running around here, used to be really severely allergic to dairy. Do you want to talk about that, Alfred? You tell him how allergic, because I can't remember what you had to say about that. Give him the mic. You're taking it away.
This is in our pre-Dr. Paul days, before I met Paul. Logan was so allergic to dairy that when he was a baby, if I would eat dairy, I eat maybe more than 2 servings in a day, and nurse him, he would break out in severe rash over his body, be very lethargic baby. He had blood in his stool from maybe 6 weeks old to off and on throughout maybe till he was 2 years old. If he had any dairy at all, it seemed to just go through his system and severe reaction. He would have odd fever outbreaks, pains in his body, severely high fevers, dangerously high fevers. Tests, I can't even tell you all the tests that we did, and nobody could say anything. Nobody knew anything. We stopped all dairy just because I didn't know what else to do. Dairy for myself. I stopped eating onions, I stopped eating eggs, I stopped eating certain fruits that seemed to be bothering him when I would nurse. And then as I introduced foods to him very slowly, it seemed like he would have big reactions, and then I could stop, put him back on something that worked, and then introduce it to him again, and maybe it would be okay for him. It was, I think, when he was 8 years old that we put him on raw dairy. No more reactions, nothing. It's all cleaned up. I think Logan is in the other room.
And I was raised on dairy, most of us in this room were raised on dairy, but it wasn't fake, it wasn't perverted. So, today Logan can even have cheese and some of this other stuff that used to bother him, and without the reaction. So, I'm gonna have him come up in a bit. Speaking on, I'll just introduce you to something you can look up on the internet. There are some people now that are taking training how to reverse the memory of allergic reactions to things in the past. And it's called NAET, N-A-E-T. And I took some of the courses on it, and it was very enlightening, especially to help people get past like autism and some of that kind of stuff. Oh, I want you to come and touch the cow. We were talking about now the cow can really laugh at everybody because we found out that real dairy works. You can touch it. You almost have to read this because that'll happen.
Yeah.
You go ahead and reach in and shut it off. That's better than really fast. That's cute. Thanks for that. I love funny stuff like that. But at our clinic, we teach people diet and lifestyle. We do a cleanse where they're actually, it's been around since 1946. It's so effective that it's still almost the same as when they started it out. When you take the cleanse kit, your digestion gets fed better than fiber and fat, but you don't have to chew it, which triggers the digestion, by the way. That's why we teach people not to chew gum, because you're triggering digestion and there's nothing to digest. But we've been so successful with that cleanse kit, we can hardly afford to get away from it. And I agree with you on the juicing. There's places for the juicing if people are disciplined enough to do that. Especially for Hodgkin lymphoma, some of the ones that are tough to get rid of. You can do it much quicker with day-to-day juicing. The juice has been reduced down into those pills, and some of you in this room have been through the course and you know it doesn't make a huge difference. We've actually seen a lot of cases of cancer drop the whole stage in 1 week while we're cleansing. But diet and lifestyle, or live it and lifestyle, is really what we should be focusing on. And so make sure you find organic producers. Now, we've had people say, I can't afford organic, and I look, well, how much are you paying for your sick care insurance? Sure enough, $1,200, $1,500, $1,600 a month. You can buy a whole lot of organic, or hire somebody to drive to the organic farmer. And here's what I tell you, when you buy from an organic farmer, pay them their price, and then give them a tip. So why did you do that? I said, well, they might be discouraged. Next year they remember you, and they might want to plant another year's crop. Or maybe they're doing it as a favor. For instance, where I get my organic oats, and I make sure it's got all the weed seeds in it, because that's your medicine chest for your animals. My horses get weed seeds, organic oats, and I don't have to waste money with a veterinarian. So I can afford to give them more than he asks. If we start doing that, pretty soon you're going to see more people get excited about being organic farmers. I was trying to find some hay to feed them years ago. I saw this one farm, he had hay for sale. And I saw the big tractor, I saw the John Deere combine, just fresh setting it late for harvest. I said, how's farming going? He said, it's terrible. I said, I can see you're feeding the banker. He goes, yeah. The only people who make money around here are those organic farmers up the road. I thought, well, first sustainable agriculture meeting I went to was in Wisconsin. And I remember they're trying to get this young farmer and his dad to come up to the front of the room. Finally, the young farmer who was scared to talk, come to the front of the room. They said, "Tell us about your farm." And he got very few words. He said, "Well, we went to the bank to borrow money for seed and fertilizer, and they wouldn't give it to us. And so somebody had told us how to go organic. And so we started looking into going with their methods, and that was from the Sustainable Agriculture Meeting." He said, "First year we had weeds, the neighbors laughed at us. And we learned a little bit more. Next year we didn't have so many bugs, neighbors still laughed at us. Third year we paid off the farm. The vet calls them and says, who's your vet these days?" They had dairy cattle. "Oh, you're our vet." "No, I'm not." "Yeah, you're our vet." "Well, you never call me." "We don't need you." It's the same with humans. That's not so complicated. It's just put junk in, junk out. Okay. I've had people call me and say, "How long do I have to do this program?" I said, "Till you're addicted to health." "Well, what's your options?" "Pills and drugs." You keep at this, it's like almost all of their conversation with the first timer, we're almost competing for headspace with Western medicine. "Well, how much dill pickle juice do I drink till it doesn't taste good?" "Yeah, but how much is that till it doesn't taste good?" "When do I take it?" "When you feel like taking it." "Well, how much?" Then you show the salt. "Well, how much salt do I take till it doesn't taste good?" "Yes, but how much is that till it doesn't taste good?" We've lost track of our God-given ability to even use our natural taste buds. We have to think like, well, 1 ounce now, or 1 milligram now, or 3 times a day. So it comes to how long do we still continue with this? How long do I have to be on that limit? Till you're addicted to health. Once you're addicted, you don't ask me that question. I touched earlier on convenience spells cancer. Convenience stores, drugs. You know why it's a challenge to get somebody to leave the drugs alone? Because it does something, even if your hair falls out. My doctor is so smart. You should get to know him. He said my hair, if I took these drugs, my hair would fall out, I would vomit and have diarrhea for days, and he was exactly right. He's so smart. You should get to know him. As they worship their witch doctor. You can hear it in their voice. He's a doctor. Durr, I call it. Okay. How many of you have colloidal silver machines? Almost everybody. I'll make it just so we have something to show. We have a Hotterite colony that's real excited about our first off the silver machines, and then the peppermint. We have JHP peppermint, and we just stopped in there. They're doing so well, they've cleaned up a nasty respiratory thing amongst the colony, just with the vaporizers using colloidal silver and the JHP peppermint. This is our well water zone. Pretty bad and stuff. We didn't do it right justice by putting it in plastic. We should be putting it in glass. Colloidal silver. From back there, you probably can't see it lights up. But it's making colloidal silver. Parts per million is not that important. There's a gray cloud. I mixed it in there. There, we just made about 6 times 20, over $100 worth of silver. $100 worth of final silver. There's enough for everybody in the room here, or I can drink it myself and be selfish. Back when this first came out, you could go to the health food store and buy one ounce bottle for $20. I had one when I was in a health convention in Southern California. And one of the people that came in from Minnesota looked me up because they got pneumonia. She says, asked me if I knew if there's any place she could go to an emergency room. I said, I'm not familiar with this part of the country. She says, well, do you have anything for us? I said, the only thing I got with us is coil silver. It's a small bottle. Don't take too much of it, I'll give it to you. So she took a few drops. That was a Friday night. And you could hear her rattling and wheezing, she didn't look too good. Saturday forenoon, there she was with her mother, and I said to her, so Jean, how you feeling? She looked at me kind of funny, she said, oh, Mom and I are going up Nutsberry for her. Totally forgot she had pneumonia a few drops earlier. So I'll do a few, better than a few drops. And it keeps a long time. You've been to my seminar, Jordan. You've heard the history on colloidal silver. Used to be the pioneers would shake their canteen. What was in the canteen? Ever watch a Western? Their money was in it. That's where you keep your money, of course. Everybody handles your money and you put it in your drinking water, right? Have you ever tried to shake a quarter out of a jar when you need it? No, it wasn't because that's their bank, because that was silver dollar in their canteen to make sure that all of that Giardia and E. coli that they just got out of the last drinking hole that they were at doesn't kill them getting to the next drinking hole. Because if you've been right near the farm, when cattle, especially, and horses too, but especially cattle, when they get their nose in the water, the tail comes up and out comes guacamole. Right in the water source. They didn't read the sign back there that the health department says must be 500 yards from the water hole before you take a dump. They do it right in the water, they're so dumb. But everybody has to drink that water. So how do they survive in the desert? They put a silver dollar in the canteen. Same thing with the use of the milk, to keep the milk longer, so it didn't spoil. Silver up. The frequency of silver neutralizes harmful bacteria. So when that lady had pneumonia, she takes a few drops of colloidal silver, cleans it up. How much does that cost? Well, what I made, you can't even put 0.00001 of a penny. So you can understand why nobody can tell you about it. It's not that exciting to sell a machine and then make thousands and thousands of dollars worth of colloidal silver for just a few pennies. So the value is there. I'm gonna show you guys how to make. How many of you know how to make home herbal tinctures? Dave back there really knows. He does. You do. I showed some of you. Well, I'm gonna today. We're gonna go through the motions of making dill tincture because that's what he chose to do. But I forgot the vodka, so we'll make it so whoever wants it, they have it. They gotta go find a little bit of vodka to put in the house. You find the container, like a fresh jar, or a used jar. Any kind of container that you put water in. I'm going to put in some dill seeds that are probably last year's because we don't have seeds yet. I want to get the essence of the dill. But now we have some homegrown this year's dill getting ready to seed. And enough to make quite a few jars. I should bruise it and make it, I'll do part of it for you. You probably grind it up or bruise it up later, Dave, when you make yours.
I have my meetings.
Yeah, you probably, I don't, it's kinda like dancing. Everybody dances a little bit different. The only way to do it wrong is to not do it at all. And if somebody promises to take this home and use it, take this 14 to 21 days, you add water, I'll give you my good well water. The water I moved to South Dakota for. And then top it off with about 20% alcohol. Which I don't have, so if you want. This mixture would be really good for depression and anxiety. Of course, it changes the surface tension of your digestion system, which is partly why it works so well. And about every so many days, I shake it if I happen to near it. It'll turn brown in color. And look up in your herb book what to use gel for. So if you want to take that back home, you brought me the gel, right? You brought me the gel. Do you have any vodka at home? Any kinds of vodka? Don't have any place to find vodka? Just water. Just water. Can't go to your house for about a minute. Anyway, we'll add some vodka to that and you can have some. Now you can pick dandelions right now, they're very, very prevalent. Thistles, my goodness, thistles are valuable, they're everywhere. We just saw some on here, coming to the seminar. I say that in America, we have the best rainforest right within our own backyard. Especially if you got burdock. Anybody got burdock in the grove? There's cancer killer. Big time in Mexico. Back when I went through cancer treatment, Biomed Center, Mildred offered me $5.50 a pound, and they would pay the shipping if I sent the burdock. You know how big the roots are. You got a gold mine in your grove. If you make the deal, help them get a lot of people well with burdock. And the leaves work too, but they all want the roots. They're like huge turnips. They get about that big around, or a big tall one. You tall one, like a big long carrot. Okay, how many of you know how to make homeopathic? I'll go through it again just because some people might need to see it again. Do you make homeopathic on your own? I have to pick your brain on that. Okay? Wisdom and Harris don't feel the same space, so I think I got one up on you. Maybe not. That's just theory, right?